Hey everybody, hope you're well. Larry McKenna lesson number 3. This lesson Larry gave me on diminished. So there's a couple of beautiful lines in this, and as I was looking through the book, I'm realizing how impactful this lesson was for me and the sounds that were in this. And I didn't quite understand all of the theory behind it, but the sounds themselves that Larry gave, I understood enough to see where they applied, at least in dominant chords at that point, and I still use them today. So let's get into it. Larry wrote, as you can see on the paper, Larry wrote in letters a whole half diminished scale. He started on B, and then he used the whole half, meaning whole step away, C sharp, D, half step, whole step E, half step F, whole step G, half step A flat, whole step B flat. And then Larry wrote out some notes here that are basically triads, but with a seventh on top. So he's taking the diminished triad, B, and then putting the major 7 on top, which is part of that diminished scale. Then the D diminished, major 7 on top, major 7 on top, F diminished. So B, D, F. And then on the next staff down, he actually wrote the regular triad, the full diminished, and then in parentheses, wrote that note a whole step above. And I can remember him doing this type of sound. And he looked at me, kind of shake his head. So he was doing basically the diminished scale coming down. So if you look at the end, we'll kind of read the line backwards. But if you look at the end of the line, you have a G natural in parentheses. And then you have an F, which is the top of that next chord. And then an E in parentheses. And then a D at the top of the next. Then a C sharp. And I heard that sound and I was just blown away by that. So Larry basically harmonizing, right, the diminished scale. Now he went a little bit further and then he gave me a line. So look at the line on the third staff down. All right, so now at this point, my mind was just like, that's the coolest thing I'd ever heard. Again, for a 18, 19-year-old, I'd never heard that kind of line before. But boy, I liked it. So that line, Larry described it to me, and it made perfect sense. If you look at the top of it, again, it's just notes of the diminished scale. But look at the first one. It's a G triad, but he adds the flat 9 on the bottom. Flat 9, flat 2. Now the next one, E triad. F, flat 9. C sharp major triad. D, flat 9. B flat major triad. B natural, flat 9. So now I'm looking at this scale and seeing that, wait a second, there are dominant chord implications. And this is what Larry showed me. So if I have a G7, I can play this scale. If I have an E7, if I have a C sharp 7, if I have a B flat 7, I mean, you know, just listening to that, it's, whew, boy, oh boy, it's just beautiful. So I'm taking every one of those dominants, G7, E7, C sharp 7, B flat 7, and I'm resolving it, right? I'm making it a 5 of something. So G7, I'm resolving it to C. E7, I'm resolving it to A. C sharp 7, I'm resolving it to F sharp. B flat 7, I'm resolving to E flat 7. And this line works over all of those. So then there were corresponding dominants as well. So, and he wrote that underneath. So he says G7, underneath of it, F diminished. D diminished. B diminished. A flat diminished. So you see that you have a dominant, you've got 4 dominants that you can use the scale over, but you also have 4 diminished. And I'm working on a piece of paper right now that will list the diminished scale, the 4 dominants and the 4 diminished chords, the 4 dominant chords and the 4 diminished chords that correspond to the scale. So again, Larry didn't really talk about half, whole, diminished, but let me just get into it for a second. Larry gave me a whole half scale, B to B flat. Well, if I started that same scale instead of on B flat, now I've got a half whole diminished. So it's either going to be whole half or half whole, and you just need to know what chords correspond to which scales. And then Larry, in his brilliance, gave me some resolutions here. So you see G7 going to C. E7 to A. C sharp to F sharp. B flat to E flat. So again, he's using the scale that he wrote on the top of the page, and he's resolving it and using it in different ways. So really a tremendous thing. Now at the bottom of the page, Larry also decided, well, okay, let's look and see, because this one diminished scale also works on the tritone substitution because it's part of the whole diminished thing. So for example, look on the 4th staff down. He's got G7, E7, C sharp 7, B flat 7. G7, what's a tritone away from G7? It's C sharp 7. So that's a substitute chord where I use the same scale. And that's what Larry did on the bottom. He had a chord progression, D minor to G7 with a flat 9 to C. But Larry used this, D minor, D flat 7 to C. So there's a tritone sub. So now if I use that same line but use a D flat instead, it works. And then Larry gives the other subs. And the diminished scale works on all of those. So this whole half diminished or half whole, depending on where you start it, really great. But this sound, and I'm playing with my mute in. This is basically just, somebody's going to ask, but it's like foam, wall foam. Anyway, this sound just knocked me out. This. So this whole idea, though, of the diminished with dominance and diminished chords, this was pure gold to me. I use this all over the place. So before the video's over, let me just play some 2/5s. I'm going to play E minor to A7. And on the A7, I'm going to use a diminished. Okay? So here you go. There's an E to A. So you get the idea. So that's what this lesson turned into for me. Just totally opened my ears up. And again, I'm going to have a piece of paper that I'm going to come up with, probably do another video on as well, about the 4 dominants and the 4 diminished that go along with each of the diminished scales. Okay, Larry McKenna, lesson number 3, Pure Gold by Larry. All right, stay well.